Next, on the season 16 premiere of Making Moves, JTA and FSCJ partner to bring autonomous shuttles to the college's downtown campus. We'll show you how JTA is transitioning from an aging Skyway system to autonomous shuttles as the new transit option for the future. JTA and emergency management experts pressure test the authorities' readiness for a major hurricane. Then a massive storm heads our way.
I was very impressed by the participation in the room. Everyone wanted to work together to solve problems, and that's exactly what you need because it's a team that comes together after a major hurricane.
As Duval County school bus driver shortage continues, how JTA continues to be the option of choice for hundreds of local students. And hundreds of local kids celebrate science, technology, engineering, and math as JTA sponsors Galaxy Fest. We'll take you downtown for this STEM event. The season 16 premiere of Making Moves starts right now. Hello and welcome to the season 16 premiere of Making Moves. I'm Bill Milnes. I'm so glad to have you join us today. We begin in downtown at the Florida State College at Jacksonville, where JTA is planning to launch a new autonomous testing project this fall on the college's downtown campus. JTA began its autonomous-centric partnership with FSCJ back in 2020 when the school opened its Cecil Center campus to JTA to test various autonomous vehicles. This new service will offer a fresh mobility solution for students, faculty, and visitors to the school's downtown campus. Covering a 1-mile route, the service will connect vital campus areas, including the Advanced Technology Center, the President's Office, and cafeteria, facilitating seamless movement between these segments. This initiative is part of JTA's Agile program, designed to prepare the Jacksonville community for the future of transportation through the Ultimate Urban Circulator, or U2C as it's known. The FSCJ project will serve as a testing ground for various autonomous vehicle applications, furthering refining their role in the community before the anticipated launch of Phase 1 of the U2C, and that's the Bay Street Innovation Corridor coming in 2025. JTA's partnership with FSCJ extends into the classroom as well. JTA is strategically aligned with FSCJ's National Science Foundation Grant Awards. These grants aim to design and implement innovative curriculum modules, equipping students to become the future workforce, proficient in autonomous technology and electric vehicle platforms. We've talked a lot about the U2C project on this show, but many of you tell us you don't know the background of the project. How is it that JTA is looking to this new technology as the future of transportation in Jacksonville? Well, the idea of the U2C dates back to 2015. When JTA officials began the evaluation of the Skyway and wondering how much longer the system could continue to operate. While the Skyway's infrastructure was still sound, keeping the trains up and running was becoming more and more difficult as replacement parts were no longer being manufactured. So a blue ribbon committee was formed from local officials, transportation experts, and interested citizens. The committee was asked to make a recommendation to the JTA Board of Directors: keep and modernize, repurpose the structure, or tear down the Skyway completely. Then on December 10th, 2015, based on the committee's recommendation, the board voted. The rest is, in fact, history.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations, advisory committee and subcommittee.
The journey to a future of autonomous public transportation on Jacksonville roadways officially began on a Thursday afternoon nearly 8 years ago. That's when the JTA Board of Directors voted to take the recommendation of a Blue Ribbon Advisory Committee to keep and modernize the Skyway.
I had been a strong proponent of making sure we canvass the opinions of people who would be impacted by the Skyway. Businesses, educators, students, anybody who would be likely to be impacted by the presence or absence of the Skyway. So having those folks on the advisory committee and having them share with us their opinion, and as importantly, having the public there to share with us their opinion was hugely value added and instrumental in us being able to formulate a recommendation that I think is going to be beneficial for the city for many, many years to come.
The board gave JTA staff 1 year to find an alternative transit option to replace the aging Skyway system. Its answer? Autonomous vehicles. That led to this, the first ever autonomous shuttle demonstration in Jacksonville. Intrigue was high as dozens of local residents, city officials, and the media all showed up to see this driverless technology and take a ride. The Easy 10 shuttle by Easy Mile performed as hoped, never straying more than a couple of inches from its pre-programmed route. This demonstration led to JTA's first test and learn track in the Sports and Entertainment District near downtown. Interest continued to swell.
It was really exciting. I think the innovation is great, and it was extremely safe. I know they have a lot of protocols that they use, and they've tested it before they'd allow people like us to get on it and try it.
Local groups and transportation officials from across the country came to the test track to see this autonomous shuttle for themselves. The decision was made to expand the autonomous testing program. Fortunately, JTA already owned the perfect facility. The authority had purchased a former power sports building on Armsdale Road, not far from the Jacksonville International Airport on the city's north side. It was now the home to the First Coast Flyer Green Line and a park and ride facility complete with a customer service space and the authority's print shop. But there was plenty of open space in the building and on the property itself. This would become the new Armsdale Test and Learn Center and home to one of the nation's most comprehensive autonomous shuttle testing programs anywhere.
And I think the reason this Armsdale facility is so important is because people can actually see the progress. They can see the applications, they can see the equipment, and how it's going to be deployed, and they can map it to their lives every day and see how it'll benefit them and benefit their children and their parents and their granddaughter with a stroller, and all those things in real life that are going to make our community better.
JTA would build out the facility to include classrooms, study cubes, as well as event, presentation, and conference areas. Outside was an extensive testing lab complete with everything the autonomous shuttles would find in the real world: stops, roundabouts, speed bumps, rain simulator, and more. Over the past 4 years, JTA has tested a total of 8 vehicles on 5 different platforms. During the process, we've developed a growing list of requirements called the Golden 20 that manufacturers must consider and, where possible, include in the design and build. Things like ramps for ADA compliance are considered to be mandatory, as JTA's autonomous program will be accessible to all. The autonomous vehicles themselves have varied widely in design, size, and features. The French-made Navia is sleek, yet can transport up to 15 passengers. It can operate for approximately 9 continuous hours with maximum speed of 25 miles per hour. The Navia can be fitted with a ramp to meet ADA compliance requirements. The Ollie, from the now-defunct Local Motors out of Phoenix, Arizona, is unique in that it was built almost entirely using 3D printing technology. The Ollie is powered by using IBM Watson technology and seats between 8 and 12 people. The EV Star from Green Power Motor Company, headquartered in Vancouver, Canada, is the nation's first zero-emissions Buy America ADA-compliant vehicle of its kind to be fully autonomous. All of these vehicles have been tested in depth at both the Armsdale facility and a second test track at Cecil Field, under an agreement with Florida State College at Jacksonville. The track is a 1-mile loop with some road hazards like speed bumps, railroad crossings, and more open space to test the vehicle's maneuverability. This industry-leading testing program has led to national and international recognition. First, during the pandemic, when JTA used the Navia autonomous shuttles to transport 13,000 COVID-19 test samples to Mayo Clinic's laboratory.
JTA approached Mayo and said, would there be any interest in using 4 of these autonomous vehicles that they had in an effort to transport supplies on our campus? And so that resonated, and within a week from that first phone call, the autonomous vehicles were deployed on our campus and transporting samples, COVID samples from our drive-through testing facility.
And again, when the world's fourth largest tire manufacturer, Goodyear, asked JTA to test its new airless tires on the Ollie at the Armsdale Center. All this testing and pilot projects were complemented by an extensive educational program. The automation team showcased the program and various vehicles at industry forums, local festivals, and other events across the city. Another important part is the futurization of autonomous technology, building a workforce for the coming decades. JTA is accomplishing that on multiple levels. First, with a collegiate level curriculum in partnership with Florida State College at Jacksonville. The authority also interacts with middle and high school STEM students at its AV roadshows, showing the technology and allowing the students to experience how it works with wide open eyes and their young brains fully engaged. Like anything new, autonomous technology has its detractors, most from those not involved in the transportation industry or who have worked with AVs in any way. But the public transit industry professionals who have been studying and testing it for several years, like those at the JTA and elsewhere in Florida, and the nearly 40 agencies across the United States, know that this technology works and is the future of transportation.
In Florida, we have great transportation agencies, not only the Department of Transportation, but JTA and our other expressway authorities, who are really leaders in this conversation and are taking it to the next level and are kind of pioneering this new ground.
Florida is, to our understanding, one of the leading states in the United States in investing, exploring, testing autonomous vehicles and future solutions.
There's no question that autonomy itself is an important inflection point in technology. This is one of those generational changes where to get out in front of this wave and compete in this wave, I think is critical to advancing the interests of our country and the interests of our state here in Florida.
I actually was impressed that they're changing the Skyway and they're going to remove the railed vehicles from it and allow the Skyway to just be some infrastructure that can be used by vehicles that can travel on regular streets as well as on the elevated paths. And that's the right way to do it. You want to make very simple infrastructure and put the smarts in the vehicles.
We are very interested in what the city is going to do to implement this technology. We're glad to see that they're trying out different vendors for the type of technology that they envision for moving people through the area. And as we all understand that we can't put more vehicles on the road as the city grows in population and as the infrastructure builds up. You have to look at different and innovative ways of moving people, and this is a great solution to one of those problems.
The hundreds and hundreds of hours of study and testing finally led to Phase 1 of the U2C, the Bay Street Innovation Corridor. A $12.5 million check from the U.S. Department of Transportation, delivered in person by then DOT Secretary Elaine Chao, would be the initial seed money to jumpstart the project.
So I think you've got to give yourself a great big round of applause and be really, really proud of what you have accomplished.
A powerful consortium of companies was selected to plan, design, and build the smart corridor that will feature 12 to 15 autonomous shuttles running a loop between the sports and entertainment complex and the downtown business district.
Project big civil infrastructure project where we have 3 miles of roadway, sidewalks, over 20 intersections, and we brought together a design team, WGI, and on the civil infrastructure, Superior, that have a great working history with JTA in delivering this project. But it's also much more than that. It's a smart corridor, and we need a systems integrator and technology. And Miller Electric is our partner for that, as our system integrator, along with design with WGI and Stantec. That's really important. We're going to be putting in almost every sensor you can think of, from vehicle sensors to pedestrian to flood sensors, cameras, smart dumpsters, smart lighting. And it all needs to be able to work together, integrated with the shuttle, kind of as one heartbeat.
The Bay Street project has reached 60% design and will start construction in January with completion by summer of 2025. There are still challenges ahead before rolling out a fleet of AVs in downtown. The project calls for a new operations center on a JTA-owned surface parking lot at Bay and Jefferson Streets. The design is still under review by the Downtown Development Review Board. Cost projections continue to change, due in part to supply chain issues and other factors. At the request of DDRB, designers and staff held a workshop with La Villa leaders and other stakeholders to review the design. JTA has reconfigured and redesigned portions of the operations center, including moving a stairway and equipment yard, changing the exterior skin and glass, as well as making the whole parcel more pedestrian-friendly and walkable. The changes to the operations center are pending approval from DDRB. To maximize efficiency and ridership along Bay Street, the JTA has requested that the autonomous shuttles run in dedicated lanes. The lanes are not only a safer option, but studies have shown travel times would be cut in half. JTA is continuing to work with the city on a resolution. And one of the major challenges is the federal Buy American mandate, which says that all transportation rolling stock must be made and assembled in the U.S., and that at least 70% of the parts or subparts must also be made here. Currently, there are no manufacturers of purpose-built AVs in the U.S., and so far attempts to get a waiver for European shuttles have not been fruitful. The JTA has met with two multi-billion-dollar shuttle manufacturers in Germany who have declared their interest in building a plant in the U.S., but would not likely be ready in time to meet the mandated U.S. DOT 2025 deadline to begin revenue service. JTA is working diligently with the U.S. DOT and FTA to determine a path forward toward acquiring purpose-built shuttles for the Bay Street Innovation Corridor prior to the 2025 launch. The ZF and Holon AVs have each been on temporary display at the Armsdale facility since being unveiled at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. The ZF vehicle in particular is larger, capable of holding more than 20 passengers, ideal for shuttling people at bigger events like the Jacksonville Jaguars football games, concerts, or other events in downtown and the sports complex. Having one or both of these companies open manufacturing plants in the U.S. not only opens up a new landscape for the rapidly developing autonomous vehicle industry, it would also provide new, high-paying technical and manufacturing jobs for U.S. workers. Over the next 2 years, vehicle selection must be finalized, orders placed, and AVs ready for service. JTA continues to work with federal officials on a resolution to the autonomous vehicle Buy America issue for its U2C project. The authority also has a Plan B and Plan C option if a timely agreement cannot be reached to meet the U.S. DOT mandated launch date for the project's revenue service. In addition, construction on both the corridor and the operations center must be completed, at which point the Bay Street Innovation Corridor will be open for business. Jacksonville once proclaimed itself the bold new city of the South. JTA's Ultimate Urban Circulator project goes far beyond bold. This innovation solution of using autonomous vehicles will transform transportation in Jacksonville and Northeast Florida like nothing else before it. It's time for Jacksonville to take a huge leap forward. JTA and its U2C project will lead the way. Up next, JTA and emergency management experts pressure test JTA's readiness for a major hurricane, then a massive storm headed our way. A school bus driver shortage has Duval parents looking at alternatives to get their kids to school, how JTA continues to be the option of choice for hundreds of local students. And children of color celebrate science, technology, engineering, and math as JTA sponsors Galaxy Fest. We'll take you to the downtown event. Those stories when we return.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
It's important to get a flu shot each and every year because flu viruses are constantly changing and immunity from the vaccine decreases over time. Flu vaccines are updated annually to work against that year's viruses. The best time to get your shot is in the fall, but getting it later can still help. Getting a flu shot lowers your risk of getting sick, and if you do happen to get flu, it's likely to be less severe.
My son, Ricky, took his life by the use of a firearm. It broke me in ways that I never knew that I could be broken. And I contemplated suicide. I still own my firearm. I keep it in a safe because I want to keep my grandson and myself safe. Store your gun securely, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo.
Losing the fear of looking foolish comes with age. Losing your way in your own home doesn't. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's. Some things come with age, some others don't.
You're watching Making Moves, the most honored transportation news and information program of its kind in the country.
Welcome back to Making Moves. When Hurricane Idalia was barreling up the west coast of Florida and forecast models predicting it to make a turn directly towards Jacksonville, JTA staff knew exactly what they had to do. That's because just days earlier, key personnel held a hurricane exercise to go over exactly what would happen and what the city would be facing as a result. Prepare for the worst. That was the plan for this hurricane exercise, designed to discuss what happens when the worst comes to us.
This is what preparedness looks like. This is what it's all about, is getting everybody at the table to make sure we have all of our communications in place and have all of our plans aligned.
The worst, according to National Weather Service meteorologist Al Sandrick, would be a Category 4 hurricane making landfall off the Atlantic just north of St. Augustine.
The storm surge is not going to be able to top the entire island, so structures that are destroyed, all the wood, all the debris is going to be piled up in piles, probably about 10 feet high. The St. Johns River becomes another major complication because the storm surge is going to be pushed down the St. Johns River all the way down to Lake George and Palatka. And all that water's got to come back out. It's going to flow over San Marco, it's going to flow over to Southside, Southampton, Riverside, Pirates Cove. All of those neighborhoods that flooded in Irma would flood about 2 to 3 times as deep as they did during Irma. And the other thing is once all that water is in the St. Johns River, it's going to take days for that water to get out. And it's going to be flowing again across the south side, San Marco, and Southampton on its way out. So it's going to be a tremendous problem. Of course, we have health facilities that are downtown. That'll be a major problem. The FBC Railroad will be cut off during that period of time. There's going to be debris in just about every part of Jacksonville. Ironically, just days after this exercise, Hurricane Idalia was targeting Jacksonville before it shifted course to the north and west and out of harm's way for most of Jacksonville. But if it didn't, the experts at this exercise say JTA and the other key members of the emergency response team were as prepared as they could be.
There was such a level of preparedness and an amazing talk about detail and a lot of great projection of what we might be able to do.
I was very impressed by the participation in the room. Everyone wanted to work together to solve problems, and that's exactly what you need because it's a team that comes together after a major hurricane.
I believe the JTA is ready for a storm. We are in a very good posture. Every year we pressure test all of our plans starting well in advance of hurricane season, and I think we are. While you can never be ready for a major event or a major catastrophic hurricane, I think we're in a very good position for hurricane season this year and beyond.
School bus driver shortages continue to be an issue for Duval County Public Schools. For many families in the district, riding a JTA bus has become a convenient way to get to and from school. But that hasn't stopped the JTA outreach team from making sure everyone knows about the availability of the authority's My Ride to School program, where students can ride JTA for free. The team was recently at Highlands and Fort Caroline middle schools, where they met with parents and students about the program. Now, over the past 2 years, thousands of middle and high school students have utilized the My Rides to School option to get to class. Students can ride for free by showing a current school ID. Another award for JTA, this one for Senior Vice President and Chief Infrastructure and Development Officer Greer Johnson Gillis. Gillis was honored at the 50 Stars Gala in recognition of her unwavering commitment and outstanding service. Numerous community partners united to celebrate the exceptional contribution of Gillis and the other award winners. New Jacksonville Mayor Donna Deegan was among the guests at the gala. JTA sponsors a huge STEM event for local kids of color. We'll take you to Galaxy Fest in downtown right after this short break.
All right, let's try this. COVID has been a really long fight, and it's been especially tough on kids.
It's been a rough transition for all of us.
Right now, as a father, I want to give the best tools to protect my kids.
So what can we do to get back to that sense of normalcy?
Many parents are asking if it is worth it to get their kids vaccinated against COVID.
The answer is absolutely yes.
My own sons, who are 6 and 8 years old, had their COVID vaccine.
It's an added layer of protection to keep kids from getting any type of severe illness or complications from a COVID infection.
A lot of parents are also wondering if the vaccines are safe.
Yes, it's safe and effective for children.
Definitely safer than a COVID infection.
Children get a smaller dosing than adults do.
So if you have questions or concerns about the vaccine, that's okay.
We're here to help.
We have the tools we need to protect kids and help them stay healthy and all get through this together.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Today, I'm the CEO of my own company.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Why are we not rethinking this?
I am more.
I'm more than
who I am on paper.
Welcome back to Making Moves. We head to James Weldon Johnson Park in downtown Jacksonville now for Galaxy Festival 2023, where culture and science ignite. Hundreds of young girls came out to be part of the JTA-sponsored festival, where they could engage with women STEM professionals, explore interactive exhibits, participate in hands-on activities, and immerse themselves in captivating demonstrations. The goal is to inspire and empower youth to pursue their passions and to provide them with the resources, role models, and support they need to succeed in STEM fields. JTA works extensively with science, technology, engineering, and math students through its AV Roadshows, where it partners with Duval County Public Schools to introduce students to autonomous and AI technology. And that wraps up this premiere show for season 16. We thank you for joining us and hope you'll join us again next time. Now, if you want to watch any of our shows again, we welcome you to check out our YouTube channel. A direct link to our YouTube page is available at jtafla.com. And we'll see you next time, everybody.